And welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have these delicious and beautiful sort of heirloom baby carrots that we received as part of a produce box, and we wanted to do something a little bit interesting with them, so we're doing sort of a restaurant style glazed carrots. And part of this recipe is going to be a preparation and part of it's going to be the glazing, so we're going to start with our ingredients. So we have our carrots here. We're going to be using some butter, a little bit of lemon juice, and also a tiny bit of brown sugar. There's also going to be a little bit of salt in this as well. Now, first things first is we're going to take our carrots. These have been washed but not peeled, and we're just going to parboil them slightly. Now, this first part of the video is basically just a preparation for these carrots that will allow you to use them for a lot of different reasons, a lot of different ways. But we're going to peel them this way. So we're going to parboil them. This is just barely boiling water, and we're going to put them in a strainer. And we just want to hold that in the water very briefly. We don't want to cook them all the way through. We're basically just blanching them. And we're just going to cook them until the skin is cooked all the way through. And you can see here that we're not going to cook them for very long. The amount you cook them is, of course, going to depend on how big they are, how many of them you have in the pot at the same time. But if you have just a few smaller ones like this, it doesn't take very long at all. So we're going to show you the whole cooking time for this size of carrot that we used here. And that's about it. That's all you really need to do. And you want to stop them cooking right away, so you're going to shock them into some icy, icy cold water right away. And that's it. That's all you need to do for the par cooking. Now what that does is it makes it a little bit easier to peel these without scraping a layer of the carrot off as well. So when you use a peeler, you're taking off the peel, but you're also taking off a fair amount of carrot. Especially on smaller carrots like this, it does take a significant chunk off. So this will really allow us to just take that layer of skin off. You can see here we're using a paper towel. This is a bit of a messy and a pretty time-consuming process, but it does help. One of the big differences that you normally see in restaurant cooking to home cooking is they have a lot more prep done. They have prep chefs, they have prep cooks who do all of this. And they get all this done. They do huge amounts of it all at once, so they can prepare it that way. So you see here, the skin has all come off here. It's nice and smooth. If you'd prefer, you can also use a cloth, like a side towel for this, or a little hand towel for this as well. That works even better sometimes. And we just want to scrape the skin off. If you've cooked it properly, it should be pretty easy. And again, this is a pretty messy procedure, but it's just little bits of carrot skin. Just throw those away. It's just fine. So once we have all of those done, we are going to put those into a large zipper bag. So this is a freezer bag, and we're just going to freeze these. And these are perfect. You can stop here if you don't want to do the glazed portion of this recipe. This is a great recipe. This is a great method just for preparing carrots for future use. You can pull out, we want to freeze these a little bit flat so we can break off a small chunk of these carrots and use them for whatever we want at the time. So these are great. They're useful in a lot of different ways. We're going to do this glaze. So we're going to start with some butter. We're going to melt some butter in the pan. And you do want the butter mostly melted before you start adding other things. So we added our sugar when it was mostly melted, and you can see here we've added our brown sugar. And now we're going to add our lemon juice. Now the lemon juice is just to give it a little bit of acidity. We don't want it to be completely insipid with just the butter and brown sugar, which is a pretty simple taste, especially with the already fairly sweet carrots, which are pretty high in sugar. So we just want to add that little bit of acidity, and lemon juice is a very easy way to do that. So we're just going to stir that together we're not even going to stir it, we're just going to basically swish it together until you see it thickening quite a bit here. This is about where we want it. And that's good and thick. A lot of the water has reduced. We're going to add a little sprinkle of salt in there. And that's ready to go. So we're going to add our carrots. So you can see here we've defrosted some of those carrots that we previously frozen. And just give them a little toss in the glaze. And we're just going to have those in the pan until they're warm all the way through. We don't need to cook them much more because we've already parboiled them. They're very small, so they cooked really, really quickly. And that's it. So they get this beautiful glaze on them, and it's a little bit sweet, a little bit tart because of the lemon juice. Amazing side dish for any number of different things. Here you can see it with a pork chop and a great salad. And yeah, that's all you need to do for that. It's super, super simple. And absolutely delicious if you have these nice sort of fresh carrots. Very, very easy to do. So if you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.